Far Beyond the Stars, Ira Bear talked to me um, one day and he said, well, I'm going to do this story. However, we'd love for you to direct it. However, you're in it a lot. And he said, well, are you willing to do it? I said, sure, absolutely. You know, the fact that we went back to 1953, and you got a chance to see all of the cast sans, you know, prosthetic makeup, and you got a chance to deal with some very, very difficult subjects, as Star Trek often does. When we talk about America, we still face the inextricable connection between racism, sexism, you know, all that's here. It's part of our landscape. So the fact that we were able to talk about it, I thought was very important. In addition to which, that it was not so far-fetched that, you know, a sci-fi writer in 1953, you know, finding a black sci-fi writer trying to find a way to get published, that's not very far-fetched at all, you know. So I must say that I thought it was very important to me. It is one of the proudest moments that I hold, you know, in my years in Star Trek. I was first Commander Sisko. I got a sci-fi promotion during the 7-year period and finished as a captain, Captain Benjamin Sisko. One of the things that attracted me to it was to talk about this male-child, father-son thing, especially for, though not exclusively, people of color. You see, I mean, it is, you know, it's a reality, you know, the single parenting. It is a reality of the disproportionate number of brown male children without father figures, etc. So it was very important to me that that relationship, you know, remained strong, you know, in the context of the 7 years. Cisco had no idea that these people said, aha, this is the one we've been waiting for. Hmm? So he was certainly, you know, to some degree, very uncomfortable with that. In addition to the wish that he wanted to go home. In the first place, he wanted to go back to Earth, so he didn't even want to be there. You know, and now these people say, you are the one, emissary. You know, yeah, he was uncomfortable with that, and that designation. Yet, as we talked about, or as I talked about, you know, this character and what his lineage is, I mean, everywhere African people are, there is a relationship to the spiritual and the divine. So to that extent, while he may not have, he was a reluctant prophet, if you will. He wasn't a prophet, he was the emissary. And I'm sure that he had some sense of what the people, their spirituality was about. I actually have an MFA in directing and acting. So this idea of directing, I just never had the time, you know, to do it. It wasn't a stretch, if you will. You know, I spent a lot of time in theater, etc. So even in the other series that I was doing, I didn't have the time. So this, now in Star Trek, I had the time, and they gave me the opportunity to do what I know how to do. Well, you know, after a point, the crew is so good, and all we have to do is set it. They know what to do. I know where the camera goes. They work with me enough to know how I want it done, you see? So yet then in terms of the relationships with the other people, again, we've been together now so long. You know, they have some sense, we have some sense of each other. So all I need to do is remember my lines and get out of the way. You see what I mean? Yeah, if it's not right, somebody's gonna tell me so. Especially across the lot. Look at the dailies, they will say, no, and reshoot that. I believe that if man, not like mankind, imagines it, it's going to happen. Sooner or later. Sooner or later, it's going to come. I'm interested in beaming, particularly. Hmm? I'm waiting on that, huh? No more airplane. You know what I'm talking about? I can just go over there, where I want. You see what I mean? It's not about location. Huh? It's the ability to go and be there. I suppose one could say that Star Trek and in other shows as well. You can fix, in this electronic box what you cannot fix in the world. So, it is a 24th century allegory about the 20th century. You know what I mean? Or you could reverse it, if you wanted to, but it allows us to talk about things that we can't fix. I would certainly hope that we can figure that out. Maybe not in my lifetime, but try to figure out some way um, to ensure peace on Earth, or in the universe for that matter. Even though we understand about the ancient notion of war and man's proclivity to, do such things, I would hope that one day we're going to figure that out. I've said this often. I want to be a part of the equation of life-saving and life-giving. So it doesn't matter what form that takes. It doesn't matter. Anything. If I can help somebody. You see what I mean? First responsibility, of course, is, once I had children, then that's what I have to do. Make it better for my children. And then, exponentially, everybody's children, if that's possible. Certainly in, the power of this thing, in this box, you have the potential to positively affect a lot of people. At the same time, if you don't take that responsibility as seriously as other people do, then it's a colossal waste of time. I've now done not very many conventions, but I've done more, you know, as years have gone by. But I say in the very beginning to the people that you complete the thought, see? And I always believe that, not just about Star Trek, but, engaging in this electronic two-dimensional plane. That is human beings who complete the thought, and therein lies the power of it. Because without the folks turning it on, without the folks supporting it, talking about it, sharing it with each other. I'll tell you this. Once I went to a dinner with a young woman who was on a soap opera. Since, well, okay. And, of course, they have these dinners, just a fan-based dinner for their characters, the people that they follow every day. And what struck me was that how important this electronic two-dimensional plane was to people who could not move, who could not walk, who could not. This window, if you will, to the imagination and the world was in some ways more important than I had ever considered. And thereby, then I understood, I hope, in a new way, how important the people are who decide to turn it on.